one of our trustees. He's a business development consultant and has 3 children, one of which is Ollie, who has MPS 6.
Thank you.
Turn it around, Paul. Turn it around. The other way. That's it.
That's better.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just first of all, we had a couple of complaints in the interval that maybe you couldn't hear so well. Can the people at the back hear okay? Is that better? Maybe we need to shout up a little more. Okay, my name is Paul Moody. I'm the father of Oliver, who is an MPS 6 sufferer. What I tend to do is I tend to just try and lighten the mood for a little while, so I hope you will bear with me. Some of these conferences do get a little bit heavy, but I've been a trustee of the MPS Society for almost 10 years now, and I've got to know a lot of families, and the families can have a little giggle, they can smile. If you go into the ball this evening, you'll see these families smiling and laughing because we are a rare breed, mainly because we have no option, but we do have to smile a little. Now, what I'm going to do today is a little bit different. I did a humorous one at Ed Wraith's memorial service, and I can't do that again. So I said to my 2 boys, what I'm going to do is something a bit different. So I've either got to sing, something a little funny, or I've got to recite a poem. So they absolutely begged me not to sing. So, on that note, no, actually I'm not going to sing. But before I start, I'm just going to recite a little poem about our MPS 6 journey, just to make it a little different. Before I do, I just want to drop something on our IT man over here, Dave. I'm just looking now, my very last line, Dave, which is coming up in 8.5 minutes, is Have a Nice Day. That's the title of Oliver's favourite song by Stereophonics. I need you to find that song, get ready to play it. On my very last line, if you play that, I'm sure everybody will clap and cheer and be happy. If you don't play that, my day's ruined. So go for it. Okay, we've got 8 minutes, Dave. So, our journey. In '99, after a great deal of time, we were called by a doctor in Leeds. In the blink of an eye, he made us both cry as he told us of Oliver's needs. He needed an enzyme, he just wasn't there. There was nothing the whole world could do. He sent us away, full of dismay, a diagnosis so awful but true. This poor little boy, with a heart full of joy, had it dashed in the span of a minute. A word that's so long, a disease that's so strong, a diagnosis so awful but true. I do apologise, I've just gone a little bit wrong. Can I just interrupt very quickly and just tell you that I have a colleague in the audience who found out that I've got my speech on the telephone, on my mobile phone, and he promised to keep ringing the mobile phone to disrupt me. There's something happening on the mobile phone. Later that year, as Christmas drew near and we prayed for an angel in faith, we asked for some light, a reason to fight, and it came in the shape of Ed Wraith. As we walked in his room, so burdened with gloom, and an image emerged that was scary. We never quite knew, could it really be true that an angel could be big and hairy? But it got even worse as we sat with the nurse, and I thought to myself, oh my lordy, he writes upside down, wears no medical gown, the angel of God is a Geordie. Ed gave us some hope. He helped us to cope, and he told us the treatment was nigh. It may be some years, and we shed a few tears. We prayed that the time would just fly. In 2003, we were down as could be, but we heard of a treatment on test. It was only on mice, but the news was still nice. All our hopes on this treatment would rest. In 2005, our hopes came alive, as we heard that the drug was approved. In old London town, we met Gordon Brown and requested red tape be removed. In 2006, our hopes were transfixed. Ed Wraith called and gave us the news. A date had been set, the cost would be met, and Ollie would soon be infused. It was May of that year when our son, who so dear, had a cannula gently inserted. A countdown ensued, an enzyme renewed, a crisis of life now averted. Emotions were high. We started to cry as his body now worked as it should. He sat on the chair, so unaware as a miracle entered his blood. As the years have advanced, his stature enhanced, his face has a trace of a beard. Bought designer specs, chased the opposite sex, and even the acne appeared. He suddenly changed, had his hair rearranged, a new hip, and his teeth looking super. He could walk, he could wink, and boy could he drink, spending most of his time in a stupor. And up on his wrist, in fact I'll give you a list, his fingers were all done at leisure, his neck and his spine, they did that 2 times and threw in a shunt for good measure. His adenoids, his ears, several times over the years, a new hip, though he now needs another. A hernia too made him feel really blue, as it's just one thing after another. He began exercising, his appetite rising, his hunger for food and for wealth. His vision was pure, an entrepreneur, he distracted himself from his health. As his ambition surged, his first business emerged, bringing pallets from the Far East to our home. We were so full of pride, as he really had tried, so we got the damn bill for the phone. As the years went by, and they really did fly, the Nagazine kept him alive. But just when we felt a better hand had been dealt, Moody chicken arrived on the drive. Some of you might have seen this. My wife's face went paler as she looked at the trailer like a traveller's home looking bad. She said, "You'll need staff." Ollie then made a gaffe when he said, "I've got you and me dad." Oh, I've got to tell you, by the way, that my 2 sons have prepared this PowerPoint for me, and we now have to, the price I've got to pay is an advert from our sponsors, www.moody. Whatever it is. Available for private events. Now that's over with. Oh no, it's not. Also on Facebook. This was business number 2, and we'd help him, he knew, but he dressed the whole family so funny. As each person was tasked, "What's your job?" we asked. He replied, "Well, I take the money." Then 2 years ago, Ed Wraith had to go. So sad for the man that we love. The angel ascended, his earthly time ended, to care for his children above. It's now 16 years since we shed our first tears, and our hearts were so laden with sorrow. Family lives rearranged, priorities changed, but we know that we have a tomorrow. It's getting close, Dave. We can make no predictions. Ollie still has restrictions. He's aware that he's slightly less abled, but he's put that behind. People love what they find. He will never be known as disabled. His hopes now renewed, his life more fulfilled. He still has a wish he could grow. Well, he may not have height, but he should give up that fight. He's the biggest person we know. Here we go. Ollie's favourite song that he's played for so long quotes his motto for life in its play. Each day when we rise, we look in his eyes, say he's well, so let's have a nice day.